Greetings everyone, and welcome to DrClay's Spooky TF2 Tales, Part 2. Yes, thank you. How you all doing out there? Yeah. And once again, let me introduce our guest. You might remember him from last year. It's Heinrich. What do you mean? It's a great idea. It's like a Halloween talk show. Remember Space Ghost? It's kind of like that. Yeah, well, the old set was just a random Team Fortress 2 map. It wasn't really anything original. Oh wow, we have books in the background. Spooky! Well, it's not exactly a good time to have a bunch of people crammed into one room, is it? Let's start with our first tale of terror. I call it The Stolen Health. A long time ago on a map called Double Cross, there was a player playing as a soldier. He was lurking with his team, and they were picking off some targets on the lower section of the map. They were on their way to invade the enemy base through the sewer system, when out of nowhere, a pyro managed to burn the soldier. Thankfully, he had some health and he was able to survive the encounter.
Okay.
However, if he did not find a health kit soon, he would soon perish from the afterburn.
Damn it! Oh.
The soldier remembered that there was a health pack nearby the stairs up ahead, and he proceeded with his friends. It was a sign from Lord Gibbed himself. He was not gonna die today. But before he could get to the health pack, he heard a familiar sound. It was the sound of a Demoknight charging! But it was not an enemy Demoknight, or so he thought. For his teammate swiped the med pack right in front of the soldier and ran off, leaving the soldier to perish in the flames. His last words were, "Dude." Amazing how a story from so long ago can still scare you, isn't it? 3 years ago is so long time ago. Yeah, not all of these happened this current year. It's been a challenge finding footage lately without running into consequences. You, just happen to have a 3-year-old calendar? Okay. As it was the last time, that is not our only tale for tonight. I have another story. A story that still is a mystery to everyone. And by everyone, I mean myself. Because I was the only one playing this game at the time. I call this tale, How High Is Up? One night, a player was testing out some recording software for a failed project on the map Frontier. He was defending the red team as a scout, and the payload was approaching the final point. Red was doing everything in its power to prevent that. Sentries everywhere, snipers guarding the final point, and so forth. Our scout friend was in the middle of a fight and was about to pick off an enemy soldier. He jumped over the payload cart when out of nowhere, he died of fall damage. The player was confused for a moment. He thought perhaps he died from the soldier. However, his health was almost full, and the kill feed reported that he died from fall damage. The blue soldier who witnessed this thought nothing of it, and simply walked off, leaving the scout alone and dead, along with his tail to die with him. Welcome back, everyone. Before we move on to our next tale, we would like to take a moment to address our sponsor. Who's our sponsor, Heinrich?
Brains!
Brains. That's the dumb... That's right, ladies and gentlemen, brains. Just donate some brains to us and we will be sure to give you some brains in exchange. Don't take my word for it. Let's see what our proud customers are saying.
It's not original, but it's true. I love brains.
When you need some brains, why not give some brains? Free with the proof of purchase of brains. We also accept brains. Wait, I don't understand. If you're just giving brains for brains, why not just keep the brains?
Brains!
I did not know there was a difference. This tale is an oldie, but a goodie. Unfortunately, there is no in-game footage of this moment, so it would have to be an entire recreation. But the tale itself is very real. I call this tale Death is Bread! As addressed earlier, this tale comes from a long time ago, way back in 2012. It was a simpler time. There was no jetpacks, no Meet Your Match update, lots of community servers, and no consequences. But there was one small change that took place that altered everything. Picture, if you will, a red heavy on low health. There's no medic around, and there's no med packs around either. And around the corner is an enemy blue heavy with at least 200 health. The blue heavy is far too close for the red heavy to just eat a sandwich. Before he would finish the sandwich, he would just get mowed down by the enemy heavy. But there is an alternative. The red heavy remembers if he throws down the sandwich, he could just pick it up and gain enough health to fend off the enemy heavy. So he decides to do just that. But afterwards, his health is still low. The sandwich didn't refill his health. It instead refilled his sandwich bar. That's right. They updated it and removed the apparent exploit. Unfortunately, the red heavy found this out all too late. All he could do was wait for his inevitable doom at this point. The blue heavy mowed him down in an instant, not even knowing the horrors that were experienced before his presence. And now we have come to our final tale of the show. I saved the best for last. It's called...
Brains!
You have a story as well? Oh well, by all means. Might as well keep the tradition going. You know, if you can call it that. It's only been done once so far.
Brains! Brains! Brains!
Once again, Heinrich, very impressive. But it won't even compare to this next tale I have. As I said before, I saved the most horrifying tale for last. It's called The Horrifying Consequences. Do not be so quick to dismiss what you are about to see, for this very thing could be happening to you right now. For this tale has affected many victims. We'll begin with a player who's playing on Upward. He's having a decent time, joking around during the waiting for players moment. He begins to notice something strange with one of their snipers. He's aiming up in the air and shaking about wildly. However, it is setup time, so maybe that player's just goofing around. So he brushes it off like it was nothing. Still, the player couldn't shake the feeling that some other presence is involved. After a while, he decides to play as a pyro. Soon the timer for the setup phase has ended, and the player ran out to try to help his team push the cart. And suddenly, he finds himself headshot. Perhaps he was killed by a sniper who was skilled. Perhaps he simply ran in front of another target that was meant to be killed. Or perhaps it was an aimbot. The player then joins another server, one of the newer maps. He notices a rather large number of snipers. Due to the nature of the game, people sometimes like to dick around and make a whole team go one specific class. It's not entirely unheard of. The player then joins the snipers for the sake of the joke, but he begins to realize the chat messages and a lack of interactivity from the snipers. These players are not people. These are merely hard empty shells of players. The bots have struck again, completely emptying the server. Another player is jumping around on high tower, having a good time, gets headshot by a sniper who begins spamming in the mic chat and text chat. The sniper is spazzing out, looking everywhere, without any consistency. Yes, there's another bot! Players begin to leave the server, and the player himself finds himself without any choice but to leave as well. Harvester, player playing as a Demoman, having a good time, having fun, bots join in, impersonate the player, multiple, causing him to get kicked. Bloodwater, this time a bot joins on the player's team. The player tries to kick the bot, but it doesn't pass. The bot then continues headshotting people left and right, and then both kicks an innocent player. Bots, bots, bots. Each and every one of these encounters cause the players to leave the server, and either stop playing the game in general, look for another server, and usually when they found another server, they were met with the same situation within 2 minutes. And you want to know what the worst part of this tale is? This is not an exaggeration. This is a very real horror. They lurk in practically every server, in hopes to attack and dismantle games. So every time you click on a server to join, be sure to say your prayers, because it's always a gamble, and before you know it, the bots might strike again. Well, everyone, it looks like we reached the end of our show. I really hope you enjoyed this year's spooky TF2 Tales. Heinrich, you got anything to sign us off with? Well said, Heinrich. I mean, no one can really understand you but myself, but it's the thought that counts. That being said, everyone, happy Halloween. Ow! What was that for? How many of these calendars do you have?